Level 1, circumstantial friend. The lowest level of friendship isn't having no friends, it's only being a friend when life makes it easy. At this level, your friendships exist because of circumstance. You become close to classmates because you sit together, coworkers because you share an office, neighbors because you live nearby. You see each other almost every day. You laugh together, share inside jokes, eat lunch together. Maybe you even think, we'll always stay friends. Then something changes. One of you changes schools, gets a new job, moves to another city, and almost overnight, the conversations become shorter, the replies become slower until one day, you realize you haven't spoken in months, nobody argued, nobody betrayed anyone. The friendship simply disappeared, not because it wasn't enjoyable, but because it depended on convenience. If staying friends requires effort, the friendship quietly fades away. Most people assume they lost a close friend, when in reality, they mostly lost proximity. Psychologists have known for decades that simply being around someone frequently makes friendship far more likely, but being close to someone and choosing someone are two very different things. One happens naturally, the other requires intention. So what happens when someone finally starts putting effort into friendship, but only as long as they're getting something back? That's where level 2 begins. Level 2, transactional friend. At this level, friendship starts feeling like an invisible scoreboard. You probably never say it out loud, but your brain quietly keeps track of everything. I invited them last time. They forgot my birthday. I always text first. They never check in on me. I helped them. So why wouldn't they help me? Every favor feels like a deposit. Every disappointment feels like a withdrawal. Now, to be fair, healthy friendships should never be completely one-sided. The problem isn't expecting effort. The problem is turning every interaction into an exchange. Without realizing it, you stop asking, do I enjoy being around this person? And start asking, am I getting enough back? The friendship slowly becomes a calculation. A delayed reply feels like rejection. A forgotten favor feels intentional. Your brain begins collecting evidence that the relationship isn't balanced, even when it probably is. Because once you start looking for inequality, you start noticing it everywhere. Psychologists call this the norm of reciprocity. Humans naturally want relationships to feel fair, but when fairness turns into accounting, friendship begins feeling less like trust and more like business. But what happens when you stop keeping score, yet still avoid the moments that actually make friendships stronger? That's where level 3 begins. Level 3, comfortable friend. At this level, you're easy to be around. You're fun, you make people laugh, you remember the jokes, you send the memes. You always know how to keep the mood light. But the moment friendship becomes uncomfortable, you disappear. Your friend is clearly struggling. You notice something feels off, but instead of asking if they're okay, you convince yourself they'll be fine. Someone hurts your feelings. Instead of talking about it, you pretend it doesn't bother you. Your friend asks for honest advice, but you're afraid the truth might upset them. So you tell them exactly what they want to hear, because comfort feels safer than honesty. The strange thing is, most friendships don't end because people stop caring about each other. They end because important conversations never happen. Small misunderstandings remain unresolved. Tiny frustrations slowly pile up. Distance quietly replaces closeness, not because anyone wanted that, but because both people kept protecting comfort instead of protecting the friendship. Real friendship eventually demands uncomfortable moments, honest conversations, apologies, forgiveness, difficult truths. If those moments never happen, the friendship eventually stops growing. It simply stays comfortable until it slowly disappears. So what happens when someone stays, even after things become difficult? That's where level 4 begins. Level 4, reliable friend. This is the level most people believe they're already at, because almost everyone thinks they're dependable, until being dependable becomes inconvenient. A reliable friend doesn't just show up for birthdays. They show up when nobody else does. When you're moving house, when you failed an important exam, when your relationship falls apart, when you're sitting alone in a hospital waiting room, when everyone else says, let me know if you need anything. They're already there. Reliability isn't dramatic. Nobody posts about it online. Nobody celebrates it, but over time, it becomes one of the strongest signals of friendship, because consistency creates something compliments never can: certainty. People stop wondering, will they be there? Because they already know the answer. Your words become less important than your pattern. Promises create expectations. Consistency creates trust, and trust is what allows friendships to survive years, distance, busy schedules, marriage, children, and almost every other change life throws at people. But even reliability isn't the highest level, because someone can always be there without ever changing your life. That's where level 5 begins. Level 5, transformational friend. The highest level of friendship isn't loyalty, it's growth. Think about the people who've had the biggest impact on your life. They probably weren't the funniest or the most popular. They were the people who helped you become someone better. They celebrated your success without becoming jealous. They challenged your excuses without making you feel ashamed. They told you difficult truths, and because they cared more about your future than your comfort. When everyone else said, you're doing fine, they said. I think you're capable of much more, not to criticize you, but because they genuinely believed in you. They're the friend who encourages you to apply for the opportunity. Start the business. Leave the unhealthy relationship. Take the risk. Become the person you keep saying you want to become. At first, those conversations aren't always enjoyable. Growth rarely is, but years later, you realize something. You may forget the jokes, the trips, the conversations, but you'll never forget the person who changed the direction of your life. Because the greatest friends don't simply make life more enjoyable. They make you more capable of living it. And maybe that's the real purpose of friendship. Not finding people who simply accept who you are, but finding people who inspire who you could become.